Welcome to Nickel City Chronicles. Today, my co-host Steve Anthos is here.
How's it going?
And our special guest today is Dave DiCioccio.
What's going on, man?
Also known as Doughboy Choach.
Formerly known as Doughboy
Choach. That's how I knew him.
Yeah, and then Dave Cut is another nickname you got now.
Yeah, Dave Cut, incorporate the cut and Dave.
Yeah, man. So,
Nice.
To kick it off, man, we'll get into some conversation. Tell us your story, man. Like, you got a unique story, especially on a local level. Everybody kind of knows you here in Buffalo, but not everybody knows everything. Some people might have some questions of what's been going on with you lately, where you've been at, where you're trying to go. But let's start from the beginning.
All right.
Tell us a story about Dave.
I was raised by my mother and father. They got divorced when I was young, and my mother lived in the suburbs, Kenmore, Tonawanda, and my father lived on the west side. So I would spend the weekdays in Kenmore, Tonawanda going to school, and then on the weekend I would go to my dad's on the west side. And, it was a great upbringing, had a great childhood, wonderful family, caring parents, and had wonderful memories as a kid.
Kenmore West?
Yeah, Kenmore West, 99, went to BOCES, learned how to, I attended cosmetology classes and got my license and, pursued my dream from there.
Yeah. So, how did you get into cosmetology? You started that in school, and then?
Yeah, I started it in school. I had always, since I was young, I was about 7th or 8th grade, I was telling my family, I want to open up the hip-hop barbershop. I always had a love for hip-hop, and I always had an interest in haircutting. And I saw a vision, even at 12, 13, that I wanted to make it something that wasn't already around, incorporating the hip-hop culture and barbering.
Yeah. And you got the vision. You wanted to start like the movie, the barbershop. You wanted something like that. Like you noticed that in North Buffalo area, Kenmore area, Tonawanda, there wasn't anything like that going on.
Yeah.
You were really the pioneer of that type of barbershop. And I remember 2001, right?
Yeah, May
when
1st,
the cut opened up. I was in middle school still. And I remember hearing like all over the place from everybody, all my friends, yo, the cut is the spot, dude. They get the best fades and tapers. And I'm seeing everybody walking around with these tapers, like these high fades and low fades and crazy looking haircuts. And I'm like, who the hell's doing this? So finally, it was actually me and Dave Hall. Yeah. We went together to get it cut. And I've experienced the cut haircut, the fade, the taper. And
you invented the fade, right?
He invented the fade. No, but you definitely invented a certain look. Not invented, but you brought about a certain look to the area. The blowout. Right, that's what it was called, the blowout. You did popularize that. That's a fact. You can honestly own that.
Yeah.
And I can honestly attest to that. And everyone had one. Yeah. Everybody had one. It was like, if you're not going to the cut, you're a loser. That's what it basically was.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But the thing was I treated everybody equal. The kids who were considered losers, I treated with the same respect as the cool guy. And that's why I succeeded, because I genuinely cared to interact with each and every person on the same personal level, no matter who they were.
Yeah, me and him were talking about that, about ego death. It's like, it's all about, like, you grow up in high school and like you're an asshole to someone, and then like you grow up and you're like,
and then that person's like a CEO of some company.
No, but like you change, your views change, and then you start, like, everyone, no matter who you are, has something to teach you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just shut up and listen to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
That's kind of like what you said was like.
That death of the ego is important for everybody, because like everyone thinks they know everything and they have all the answers. But when you were in your prime, early 2000s, coming up to like 2007-ish for like 5-6 years. You met some people, like some celebrities that came through to get the haircut when they came to Buffalo to do a concert. That was the spot. They went to the cut.
Yeah.
So who are some of those people that we saw that you cut, that you got to know and became acquainted with?
I've had a lot of people come by the shop. Most of them in the earlier days before they blew up. French Montana came by, DJ Drama came by. Of course, all of Dipset came by because I was working with them a lot.
Yeah.
Fat Man Scoop.
Yeah, Shice Bub, I remember that one.
Oh yeah, Shice Bub. That's my good friend. I just talked to him the other day.
Yeah.
It was his birthday yesterday, so I wished him a happy birthday.
Yep.
He shouted me out back, and he used to pick up the phone for me when I was away for a little bit.
Yeah. And then so you made it big, dude. You honestly you made it. You were established as a popular barber salon in Buffalo. You had celebrities coming to get their hair cut. Life got crazy though, right?
Yeah, I mean, with all the being in the spotlight at such a young age, I was 19 when I opened the shop. So you can imagine not even being fully grown in my mind to go from a high school kid to having the hottest barber shop in town and everything that came along with it at such a fast pace.
You couldn't handle it.
I handled it.
Well,
I handled it for
handle
a
it,
while, but eventually, it did.
It got
did
up to
progress and take its toll.
Yeah, because they say no, like everyone thinks that they can handle being a celebrity until they're a celebrity,
right?
And then they,
or even just having all the responsibility of owning a company and having people blowing up your phone all the time.
You got pressure, all that pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you was, were you into making music too, or were you? Because I thought you were actually like making music.
Yeah.
So you were actually making.
Throughout some friends that I made.
Yeah.
Started hanging out with a particular individual named Shice Bub. He was the CEO of a record label called Purple City.
Yep.
Okay.
Which was a group as well, and they had a big song. It was called Purple City Bird Gang. It was more of an underground classic.
Yeah,
However,
I think I've heard it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like the name sounds super familiar.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead. It was pretty popular, and started hanging out with him. I actually met him on Delaware and Chippewa on a whim. I was the biggest Dipset fan, since Cameron dropped Horse and Carriage with Mace back in 1997. So by the time I met him in 2003, I had all his mixtapes and stuff, and I knew that they were in town, but I didn't actually envision. Actually, the funniest part is I had just broke up with a girl, and that night I told her, "You watch, my boys are coming to town. I'm about to get on," and fate would have it, I'm walking down Chippewa, and I see Shice Bub coming with his big bird chain swinging.
Damn.
And I'm like,
that's got to be a scene right there.
I'm like, Shice Bub, this is my city. You're coming with me.
Right.
Brought him to Utopia, pop bottles.
Utopia. I remember that spot.
Yeah.
So you brought him there, and then you guys started talking, and then that was it. You guys make music together after that?
Well, it wasn't as quick as that. However, we exchanged numbers. He actually crashed at my house that night. And this is before MySpace, before the social media.
For YouTube and all that.
So if you didn't know where somebody lived and you lost their phone number, that was it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and he was in a phase of his life where he was changing his number a lot. So I actually lost his number. But after we hung out at Utopia, you couldn't tell me I wasn't a rapper. You couldn't tell me I wasn't Dipset. So I saved up.
You became affiliated.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I saved up about $10,000, and I went to the city, and my goal was to look like a rapper. So I went, I bought the mink coat, and my friend who was working for me at the barbershop at the time lived in New York City. He said, "Yo, you got to go to this jeweler." His name was Rob the Jeweler. I'll never forget. So I'm walking, I look it up, get the address, go to Rob the Jeweler. It's a shop about no bigger than this bar right here with one case.
Yeah. Not
much stuff at all. And I'm looking, and I see the mold to Shice Bub's bird chain in the case. So I say, "You know Shice Bub?" He's like, "Yeah, it's my man." I'm like, "No way. Call him up."
Where was this at?
Manhattan.
Okay.
There's a million.
No, I know. I'm trying to picture it in my head. Go ahead.
There's a million jewelry stores in Manhattan.
Yeah, no.
What are the odds?
Right.
I
crazy,
go to
crazy.
the one that made the chain.
Right.
So get him on the phone. "Yo, Bubs, what up? It's Dave from Buffalo. Yeah, I remember you. Take my number. Hit me up tomorrow."
That's crazy.
Tomorrow I hit him up. Next thing you know, hanging out, listening to music. And
I remember you used to get the mixtapes before they even came out.
Right.
Like Shice Bub came out with the Price is Right mixtape.
Looking like Bob Barker.
Yeah, and you had it at your barbershop for sale. Yep. And it wasn't even on the internet yet, like as being advertised. It wasn't even done yet, I don't think.
Right.
You just had like a rough copy that he gave you or something.
Yeah.
And you made copies and started selling them. I was like, wow, this dude's got the inside scoop on Dipset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
after that, you know, I shot the video with Uncasa. If you guys want to check it out, it's called So Hard. Me and Uncasa shot it in the barbershop, cutting his hair and stuff like that.
I remember that.
And this was when Dipset was at their peak. So MySpace had just come out.
Right.
And I started uploading it onto MySpace, getting a lot of hits and stuff like that. And from hanging out with Bubs, he started introducing me to the rest of Dipset, Hell Rel, Joel Santana. You know, I even partied with Cameron a few times. And ended up doing a song with Hell Rel, shooting the video. Did a song with Freaky Zeke.
Damn.
Yeah.
Keep going. Go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
I dropped a mixtape called, I was doing mixtapes about every 6 months, and I would print up 10,000 copies, and I wasn't selling them because my goal was to get my name out there as big as possible to get the record deal, to get the money.
Yeah, so you just wanted to be heard first.
I'm giving the music out just to get my name out there.
That's how most people start out.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people go wrong because they think that people actually want to have an interest in them,
or they don't.
So they're trying to sell their music when, you know, people value their money over your music.
Yeah, well, it's your music compared to listening to the Beatles. I can choose the Beatles over you.
I'm going to buy, you know, Cameron's new CD or some local mixtape guy.
Right.
So
you had no choice.
If I had any advice for up-and-coming artists, it's invest in yourself, because if you don't invest in yourself, why would you expect the next person to want to invest in you?
Right. That's for any industry, too.
Education is everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, it's all about the content. Like, you got to really put out the best. Like, you can't just put something out there and expect it to be successful.
Well, I mean, your work does speak for itself, depending on what it is. Like the commercial I shot for my boss.
Yeah.
Like, he went and gave it to someone else, and then they put it on CBS.
Right.
Chopped it
and
up.
They took credit for it.
And they fucking took my name out.
So that's another thing.
There's
a lot of shicey shit going on.
Shicey stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What happened with VH1?
A customer of mine, Ricky Perillo, what up, Rick? He had been coming for as long as you. Him and all his friends used to come from West Seneca by the carload. He was in high school. Very similar. I had a crowd of kids from every area who would pack the cars and come make the journey.
Yeah, I remember that.
To the swag mecca of Tonawanda.
Right.
And he was just a longtime customer. And one day he comes in and says, I just got back from Florida, and I got approached to be on a reality show. And at the time, Flavor of Love with Flavor Flav was
the biggest show out. Yeah. Everyone knew that show.
Yeah. So he's telling me The Girl New York has a sequel coming out.
Yep.
It's called I Love New York.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is awesome, you know?
And you were going to be in it?
He was going to be in it. However, we had a mutual understanding that if so many people throughout the years told me, dude, if I ever become famous, I'm bringing you with me for the ride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
people said that like...
everyone says that.
Me and him were talking about for me, I want to get all my friends together to be a part of my production company.
Right.
And I want to be successful with the people that I
You
know what I'm saying? Like, I want to, you know...
Right.
A lot of people do that. Like, they bring their crew around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the...
usually just end up paying their way, and they don't do anything.
And they forget about it,
You know what I'm saying? But
so he was coming in for cuts, and he ended up getting on the show, and the show was a huge success. It was the biggest show.
What was it called?
I Love New York.
Right.
Yeah. It was the biggest show
with the girl
at the time, New York.
The one that was
who won Flavor of Flav. Yeah. So it was a hit. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was piggybacking off of his success. However, he was using me as inspiration, so we both benefited. You know, I was kind of giving him swag, giving him direction.
But you weren't actually on the show.
No,
actually, a year later, they did Where Are They Now, and they went back to the hometown of the 5 most popular characters, and
he was one of them.
Yeah, they chose him. But before that, it was a reunion, and if you ever watch a reality reunion, they have about 5 or 6 people sit on the stage for an interview.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the guys are just in the crowd. They say their name and they go like that one time.
Right.
He chose to sit on the stage for the interview. So,
wow.
So
must have been an interesting character.
We went out there to Hollywood for a couple of days, paid for by VH1, and a bunch of the guys got their hair cut at the hotel for me before. And, that was an experience. So I knew that from when he was on the stage getting interviewed by Lala, Carmelo's wife, that he was one of the more popular guys. So the October after that, they did Where Are They Now, which is going back to their hometown to see what they do on a day-to-day, see how they're living and stuff. And because he was well known for his hair, because this is before the Gotti Boys, this is before Jersey Shore, so his hair was a statement in itself, and he was well known for his hair. So they wanted to know more about.
So you're the one that gave him that haircut.
Yeah.
and that was the fade or the blowout?
The blowout.
Okay.
Nice.
You're talking about like the what's his name? What's the dude from Jersey Shore?
Oh, Pauly D.
Pauly D.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You know what's crazy is because like Tonawanda, Kenmore, and North Buffalo, that's uptown in Buffalo. You had like the uptown blowout,
right?
And you gave him he had the signature Buffalo, New York fade.
Yep.
Which is the cut blowout.
Yeah, it was actually people referred to it as the cut.
Yeah, the cut.
More people would say, "Oh, you got the cut."
The cut.
They
right.
wouldn't call it a blowout. Like
but you gotta have good hair to get a blowout, right?
Yeah, you have to have thick
hair.
Thick hair.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
for the right price, I could probably make your shit tighter.
I mean, no, I know. Like I said, like
you can do something with it.
No,
yeah.
You got hair.
I gotta. Yeah, no, it's not bad. It's just I'm losing it. You know, my dad's bald, my brother's
Dude,
bald.
we're getting older. What are you gonna do?
I'm 32. My dad was bald by 28. My brother was bald by 23.
So you're doing pretty good then.
I'm trying to think. When my brother graduated, Matt Antholzner. I don't know if you knew him.
Sounds familiar.
I feel like you're. How old are you?
39.
Yeah, he's 36, so he would have been an underclassman.
Okay.
So
okay.
yeah, I didn't know you were that old. You don't look that old.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I always thought you were like 34 or 35.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
So okay, so now we're at the point now in your life. You made it to the top. You were with celebrities. You're getting on TV. You're getting noticed. What happened? What happened? What's the downfall? Let's get into that for a couple minutes.
It was a whirlwind of success all at once, and I'm not gonna lie. When the shop opened, a lot of temptation was in front of my face. I was offered a lot of things, and at that age, it was very hard to have discipline.
Yeah.
I started out partying a little bit on the weekends, here and there, occasionally, but it just felt like this is what you do when you're successful,
Yeah.
And it seemed like everybody was doing it, so it didn't feel like I was doing anything anybody wasn't doing.
And usually it's free, like people just have it.
It's always free the first time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I maintained it for about 10 years, or at least I thought I maintained it for 10 years, and I was involved in a motorcycle accident in 2011, and I was prescribed Lortabs.
That's usually how the story starts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's such a normal thing to hear.
Yep.
So I was prescribed Lortabs, and I would started out taking 2 as directed. Next thing you know, 3.
Next thing you know, it doesn't work anymore.
Next thing you
10.
know, the bottle's gone after 3-4 days.
Right.
And then you're going out buying more shit.
So I would resort to going to the streets to buy them.
Oh yeah.
And
for
you said 2011.
Yeah.
That it was like the year that was like in the middle of the opiate epidemic in New York, Western New York.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
it hit hard.
what you just said, a million people have said the same thing.
Yeah.
I got prescribed tabs because I
Yep.
got into a car accident. Something along the lines of,
No,
or they found it in their grandma's cabinet and didn't think
Yeah.
it was a big deal because, hey, if my grandma can take it, I can take it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you hear that story so much. People start off with Lortabs, and then it progresses, and then the Oxycontins came out.
Yep.
Oxys were bad.
Crushed everybody.
Yo, that's what happened to me. I had hip surgery, and like I had already been addicted to opiates, and I got sober, right? 5 years sober, and then all of a sudden, I get prescribed like oxycodone 10s. They send them home with me, right? So I convinced my mom to like not hold on to the bottle, like give them to me. So I got like 80 of them, right? They were gone in 6 days.
Right.
So then I'm out buying,
Yeah.
bags of pills.
Yeah, whatever.
And it's just like
Any type of opiate.
boom, three months relapsed, and then you know,
That's what happens.
and then I got clean again, and
Yeah. That's the normal story. That's what
Yeah.
everybody's. That's your name your face is the same as every other face. Like what you just said is the normal story of how people get addicted to opiates.
Not
And then
everybody's went through it, but everybody knows somebody who was affected.
everyone
Yeah.
at least knows somebody, right?
Yeah.
And it always starts off with the lower tabs, and then it progresses, and it usually, most of the time, progresses to heroin,
yeah,
to the beast of all beasts.
Yep.
Right.
And once you cross that line, you're done. You need something outside of yourself to bring you back to normalcy. You can't do it by yourself. That's the thing. And a lot of times, and you and I can both identify with this part, it takes prison Sometimes something has to happen, and you got to be taken out of the situation completely. So, what happened?
All right, so
I mean, I went to jail too, dude.
Yeah.
2 nights.
It was.
I found God.
Yeah, right. I found God in jail 2 nights.
Well, so what happened, dude?
October 2014. I went out, and I was under the influence, and I was already in a bad mood, and let's just say things got out of control.
You were losing your mind, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And things got out of control, and I made the worst mistake of my life, and I paid the price for it, and I served the time. I actually was sentenced to 7 years in prison. And it was a very humbling experience. At the end, I wasn't quite on top as I was previously.
Yeah.
So it was still very humbling coming from Kenmore, Tonawanda, to just go to a prison,
right?
It's
I know that's like, yeah. But I wanted to just touch on this real quick. I don't want to focus on it too hard, but you're in a crazy daze of benzos and opiates and cocaine,
drug-induced psychosis.
You don't know what you're doing. You lose sight of what's right and what's wrong. You become animalistic, right?
You become someone else.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, do you even remember doing what you did? Or, I mean, you probably are. I mean, you're probably sorry for it. Like, what?
Yeah, it was the worst mistake of my life. Whether I remembered it or not is irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. It happened. There's nothing you could do to change it.
Nothing I could do to change it. All I know is that I served my time and came out a better man.
Yeah.
And
how much time was it?
It was 7 years, but because I got a year off for good time and 6 months off for college, I got out in 5.5.
Wow, it's
I had
a long
no
time.
tickets. Got my college degree.
Still, 5.5 is a long time, dude.
It is.
That's time. That's real time.
Can't get it back.
That's state time right there.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, I'm not trying to get into details, but what happened? Was it just happened, or was there beef beforehand, or is just you were?
I'd rather not get into all
right. That's fine.
No, I just I was just wondering.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's all good.
But so now you get out. You come home. You're clear-headed.
Yeah.
What's the vision now? What are we looking at?
Well, first it was reconnecting with my family. Making up for times where I may have not been so close with them, and they stayed by my side the entire time, supported me right through, never stopped loving me, and that really showed me what really matters in life. And all the material things, all the success, everything I had access to my fingertips didn't mean anything because it was all taken away, and the only people that were still there for me were my mom, my dad, my sisters, and a couple friends.
Yeah.
So you just put things in perspective of what really matters.
Yeah.
And did my time, came out, started up the barbershop again. I was actually doing haircuts in the backyard. I think you came by for a cut in the backyard.
Came in the first week.
Yeah. Saved up enough money to buy the equipment for inside the shop, or for inside the house. And
you got a nice little setup now too.
Within a month, I opened up the home shop, and it looks great, and people
love
it.
It's legit too.
Yeah, people are coming by. My business has actually grown exponentially in the past few months, and I just have a very bright, optimistic outlook for the future, and I'm just feel blessed to have the opportunity to do it.
That's good.
That's really good.
I mean, everyone deserves a second chance,
Everybody, yeah.
Everybody. People love the story of the underdog and second chance.
Falling and get back up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody falls.
That's the story of everyone's life, though.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, you're gonna fall down. It's about how you get back up and how you face the hurdle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A man's character isn't judged by his downfall. It's how he responded.
It's how you come
That's a
up.
fact.
Yeah.
That is such a fact. Yeah.
Also, if you guys didn't know, this is sponsored by Supercuts, so
that's why I wanted to bring him on, dude. Yeah. He's funny as Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Sponsorship. Did you hear that or no?
Right.
That's a sound effect. You probably couldn't hear it. You'll see it. You'll see it.
Sponsorship or lawsuit.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So let's get into some. Now we're talking recovery. We're talking growth. We're talking positive vibes. We're looking to the future. We're looking to build. But I also wanted to pick your brain on the prison life a little bit because I've been through it, and it's a fucked up spot.
It's a different world.
It's a different world.
It's a whole different world.
They reduced you down to animalistic levels where you have to literally. It's a dog eat dog world in that prison, and it's like you have no choice but to play the game. It's like a game. Everybody plays a character. You have to join a certain group. You have to you have no choice but to like fit in and do whatever you got to do.
High school with convicts.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. And it's like
and they call that rehabilitation.
And they call it rehabilitation.
Yeah, for sure.
Not, dude.
No.
And you really, what it is, it makes people worse.
No,
it hardens people. Become like the term hardened criminal. That's a fact. People go to prison. They get affiliated with gangs that gamble all day and just. People get caught. All types of crazy.
I've seen people go in with 2 years. Their 2 years turned into 5. Their 5 turned into 8. And next thing you know, they're serving life.
And
literally.
And people are probably asking, how does that happen? Well, I'll tell you how that happens. You go into prison on a non-violent drug charge. You get a 1 to 3 or 2 flat. And you jump into the gangs right away because that's the way to get protection. You know what I'm saying? That's the way to get by. Like it sounds cliche, but it's true. This is how that's just the way it is. Like you join up with whoever you fit in with, whatever crowd you fit in with, and you follow suit. And sometimes they might hand you a blade and be like, "Bro, hit." You know what I'm saying? Here, hold this for me. Mm-hmm. And then you're holding it for him, and all of a sudden the CO's running, and you're holding it, and you get put in the box. You get an extra charge. You got a new felony now.
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
Yes, it happens.
Times.
It happens every year. It happens all the time, and it happens all. It's a common thing. People go to prison and they never come home, and it's the saddest thing in the world, dude. Think about it.
That's the system.
Yeah,
they keep you in it,
and then think about solitary.
The government pays for it.
Yeah, but not only that, it is actually produces money.
It's one of the biggest
business.
It's one of the biggest things that produces.
And it's free labor, so it's basically modern day slavery because
the inmates run it.
Yeah,
and the inmates are doing everything except for the CO's job.
For what?
Right.
39 cents an hour.
Well, I wish.
Well, yeah,
you get about 12 cents an hour.
Really?
Well, check this out.
$2.50 a week.
Check this out. This is their way around it, right?
What does that get you? Bag of chips or
a
couple of
just a couple bag of chips?
Yeah,
just some food, right? Maybe a phone call. But check this out. This is how they get around it, though, because you're in prison. You have nothing better to do but to stare at a wall. So they come around and say, "Oh, we need a workforce to go out and fix the railroad." I don't know. I'm just throwing an example out there. Whatever the job is, we need a railroad to go. We need a crew to go clean up the public park in this area, and we need a team of people. They're going to chain your leg to leg and arm to arm. And you guys can go out and do it. Does it sound like fun? It sounds like a field trip, right, guys?
Yeah.
They make it seem like it's like we're going to get out of jail. Yeah. But really, they're just putting you to work.
Yeah.
And it's modern day slavery.
Yeah.
It really is.
And they will give you like.
And you won't deny it. When someone comes with you with an offer to get out of jail for the day, you want to get out for the day and go enjoy the weather, you're going to say yes.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. But the only way you get out of jail and not end up with life is by keeping yourself busy.
That's what I did.
Yeah, by either working in the kitchen, like getting a degree, doing, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to be constantly busy.
Yep.
I worked in the barber shop from
in jail.
There's programs. Yeah, you go from 8 to 11 to work. So I worked in the barber shop. Then from 1 to 3, you go back to work, which I worked in the barber shop. Then at night, I was doing college classes. And in between sneaking out to the yard I was a big walker. I would walk miles and miles and miles. There were students in there with life who said that they'd never seen anybody walking like me. And it kind of surprised me.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so yeah, and that's another thing. Another huge thing in prison is finding a trade. So whether it's doing art for people that they can mail to their family,
some of the most amazing artists I've
seen. In my life. People become artists in there, or being a barber. That's another trade.
The tattoos, the machines that they make out of nothing.
There's an entire market in prison that people don't even know about.
Yeah,
it's an intense, intricate market full of all types of trades and like services and duties and. It's mind blowing to think about.
Yeah,
I've seen guys take a beard trimmer, the coil out of a lighter, the spring, straighten it out, somehow rig the thing to the motor, melt a black chess piece into liquid, somehow inject it into the
Yeah.
the tattoo,
And that's how
they're
they do.
giving
Yeah,
tattoos.
I heard that. I heard that.
Wait. The ink was a chest piece?
Was a
Yes.
melted chest piece.
What?
Yeah, it's completely black. Yeah.
Yeah.
But check this out
But
too.
that's plastic, isn't it?
And this is
I feel like that's like bad.
well,
for,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
tattoos.
But
is
they had
that's lead and ink and stuff. That's not good, right?
yeah, but I mean, plastic is like.
I don't think anything going in your body should be good,
Yeah.
especially if it's permanent. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, you also see crazy shit like people taking the foil. Those little like
For the juices.
little juice cups that you peel the foil
Yeah.
off, and that's technically a metal.
Uh-huh.
So they'll take it and roll it up, and they'll stick it into a socket
to get a light.
it'll spark a light.
No way.
And a little flame will spark out, and they'll quickly put their face up to it. Put their face up to a fucking outlet,
socket.
electrical socket to light their cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not get electrocuted.
And just to not get electrocuted. Now, when you get upstate, there's lighters, so it's different. That's a county trick that I just told you.
Yeah.
Upstate, there's lighters, but still, that's you know what I'm saying.
If these people use their smarts to something positive,
they would
no take over the world.
Take over the world,
because
for sure.
the things that I've seen people do with nothing in prison just blows my mind.
It's insane.
There was one guy who took bars of soap, and he made literally the nicest sculpture that I've ever seen in my life out of a bar of soap. Yeah, and he'll sell it for $10 at commissary. Yep. And
well, you got to figure. I mean, jail's full of convicts and addicts and all that, and like those people are like the most like they're always trying to make a buck or whatever. Like, and addicts, they're always
you got. This is a common thing. I shouldn't be saying this, but whatever. Who cares? Barely anyone watches my podcast anyway. But some people, they get a visit from their girlfriend.
Yeah.
The girlfriend will kiss them.
Or boyfriend.
Yeah, or boyfriend. They'll kiss them.
Oh,
from tongue to tongue.
Yeah.
Give a whole package of whatever drugs it is. Who knows? A nice little package in there. Swallow it, and then either go back and drink shampoo to puke it out, or just wait till they shit it out the next day.
Yeah.
And then pull it out of their shit. Yeah. And then they have that's how they get drugs.
Thing like that, you hide stuff in shampoo bottles, like cigarettes, and stuff like that.
People stick stuff in their ass.
Well, there's guys who went in broke and came home with $250,000.
Yeah,
They're making the guys who do it right make way more than the COs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's people making money in jail. That's a fact. That's crazy though.
Yeah. But that's another problem. Is I believe that they should give people who are prescribed medication there's a medication called Suboxone.
Yeah.
It's to help people with opiate problems.
Right.
And
it works.
It works. It's proven to work.
Yeah.
But the New York State prison system hasn't okayed it, and they still outlaw it.
Yeah.
So they'd rather you have to
cold turkey.
Guys are hanging themselves.
Out. Yeah.
Guys are hanging themselves in
the and that's the thing.
Holding center.
It's crazy. What's crazy to me is the prison industrial complex is now trumping over the medical industry and saying like you're prescribed medicine X and Y, but when you go to jail, they take those away from you and say no, that's not okay. We're gonna give you A and B instead.
Would they
you?
Would they deny somebody with diabetes or?
That's what I'm saying.
Insulin?
If you're prescribed a medication from a doctor, that's your medication, no matter what happens to you.
Yeah.
That's to me that needs to be reformed immediately.
Yeah.
But there's so much prison reform that has to happen. Like it's crazy right now. Prison is the most behind the most like primitive thing in our society right now is the way we handle prison like dungeons now. Like we just throw people in there to rot and. Like really, it's just crazy because not everybody that goes to jail is a rapist and a murderer. Like we think like, oh, who cares? Why should inmates get health care? Why should they get? Because you think everybody's a horrible person until it's their family member, until it's their son that's got into drugs and got in trouble and went to jail. Now all of a sudden we need to rehabilitate. We need to rehabilitate. Oh, now because it affects your life. Now you want to make change.
Yeah, exactly.
But
they only get involved once it affects them.
Right, but as soon as they have
before
skin in
that,
the game,
they treat people like they treat other people like addicts or convicts,
right?
Like shit.
Yeah,
and it's just like if you treat people like people, then it'll help them get sober. It'll help them change their ways. Like,
that's a fact. Yeah,
seriously, because like
it's crazy because like in other countries in Europe and stuff,
They give them apartments.
Yeah, they treat prison like it's a university.
Yeah, and
like we need to teach this person some things so they can go back into society and not fuck up again.
They have the least recidivism rate out of anybody in the world.
We have
countries that
in our prison system in America, it's like 9 out of every 10 inmates goes back to jail. 90% goes back to jail at some point in their life. Over there, it's like not even 1%.
Yeah, because they rehabilitate you and prepare you for real
life.
You
a college degree.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do they actually teach, like, because there's people in there for years, like, do they actually have classes or whatever?
They do, but it's not.
They go through the motions.
Yeah, they go through the motions.
Exactly,
but it's
that's
not
a good way to put it.
Yeah, they go through the motions to say they're doing it.
Yeah.
So
however, it's a very low budget.
Yeah,
which is a big problem.
I'll give you an example
to inmates to run.
Let me give you an example. So I did this program. I did this program where it was supposed to be like I was supposed to learn carpentry. I was supposed to learn all these techniques that I can go home and they would literally it would be like you'd learn how to cut a piece of wood or something so dumb and pointless that you're not going to take home with you.
Yeah.
There's no real skills. It's just you're just like you said, going through the motions. Like, oh, I got out of jail for 1 hour to go to a class in jail. I didn't leave jail. I just went to another room with another person who has to follow all these regulations. So that you're not allowed to touch certain tools. And if you can't touch a tool, it's chained to something, and you can't actually learn how to do the job. You're just watching somebody, and everyone's screwing off. There's really no seriousness about it. And like Dave said, it really is just going through the motions. Nobody learns the trade in jail. It doesn't happen. And they used to give out degrees. And they were saying that's not, this isn't fair to people who really go to university. How does that make sense? If I take a book that, if a university teacher is teaching English 110 and they have a textbook, and I take that same textbook and I read it front to back, I'm educating myself English 110. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between someone in jail and someone who's not in jail?
Why would you not want somebody who's coming out of jail to better prepare themselves for success?
Hello.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you, for me, I wish I went to BOCES and learned a trade. Why wouldn't you take a trade seriously? Then you can get out of jail and actually get a job because you're skilled.
Because you know something.
And there's trades out there, people they're like, oh, get a degree, rack up all this debt.
Right.
And there's trades out there that make more money than half the
That's a good point.
Yeah. Plumbers make $68 to $100 an hour.
Yep. Electricians make good money.
Electricians.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that you're right. I think people need to. I think our education system in general, we need to start gearing people towards learning skills rather than learning knowledge.
You're brainwashed.
But it's all run by the government, dude.
You're brainwashed in society to think college is necessary. That's just what they want you to think. So you
get that degree
so they can
build
part
that. Of their
Do you know how many people I know who got their masters, got PhDs, and you talk to them and they don't even use it.
They don't have a clue.
They don't have a clue about what's going on. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They have to look stuff up to find stuff. It's like even sometimes teachers. I'm not trying to sound like I'm smarter than everybody. I'm not at all. But sometimes you're in a class with a teacher, and this is supposed to be the expert. This is supposed to be the person teaching you the subject, and they have to go to the book for everything. They can't really give you their own experience or their own knowledge. They don't have it. It's just they're just like a robot.
Yeah,
and you're not learning anything.
Yeah,
and I feel like our education system has been really watered down lately.
But I do feel like a lot of the old teachers have passed on, and a lot of people from our generation are taking over. And I feel like they're taking a more hands-on approach than the teachers of the past.
Yeah, no,
I do believe it's changing.
Yeah, no, there's some good teachers out there,
but they're still part of the whole system where they're only limited. I bet you if they are doing something creative and different, I bet you the school comes down on them for stepping out of the box.
Yeah, you can't go against the norms, and it's all directed towards getting the piece of paper.
Yeah, but everyone
rather than learning something and actually having something of value, like a skill, people just want that piece of paper. So, I got a master's degree.
Yeah.
What is that master's degree doing for you if you don't know anything?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if I cheat my way through college and I get a master's degree, or if I become a doctor or get a PhD. And I cheated my way the whole time through college, and then all of a sudden I get thrown out to treat a patient, do surgery or something, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna fuck. I'm gonna fuck up.
Or you could be the most prepared person in the world. The boss's nephew is gonna get the job.
Yeah, there's that too. There's that too. That's a whole nother. Yeah, that's a fact too.
His son, who's a complete fuck up.
Right.
And
then doesn't matter how many times he screws up.
Yeah,
they just keep the job forever.
Yeah.
And you got even not even just jobs, but you got family businesses where People are just born into the wealth, and it doesn't matter what they do. Never have a job in your life, go to jail, go screw up, and do all this crazy stuff, and then you're just here's the business. And it's like not everybody has that opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Some people do, so they don't take it for granted.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So they're gonna take it for granted,
right? And they just do whatever they want, and just rely on my dad to make sure that all the bills are paid, the lights are still on, the business is still rolling. But I'll keep my money flowing. I'll keep my apartment good. And I'll keep, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Just, you see a lot of that shit going on. That's I don't know, man. There's a lot to open up there, but.
Right.
No, but to touch back on that whole, like, prison reform, how 9 out of 10 people go back, it's like, they really need to, like, change that up because people go out and they don't know how to interact with real life.
Right.
And they don't know what to do. So they lose their mind and then they go commit a crime just to go back to jail because that's the way they no life.
And also you become.
They'd rather be in jail than.
I was going to say they become institutionalized. So when you're in prison for a long enough time, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Every day is the same thing. It's like Groundhog's Day, and you get used to your schedule where you wake up, you go to chow, you do this, you do that, you go to the yard, you do this, you do that, and every day is exactly the same from sunup to sundown for 5 years, and then you get out. And all of a sudden, you don't have the correctional officer
3 meals aren't guaranteed.
You have to go and do stuff now. Yeah. You have to get to point A to point B. You have to make food. You have to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a shock. Like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, that institutionalization is real. Like, people don't realize that. Is like, that's a shock to people when they come out of prison. They don't not know how to live because
it's a psychological thing, man. It's mental. It's crazy.
And that's why they come back.
Yeah. Because they feel more comfortable being in a cell than they do out in the streets.
And that's the most dangerous person to let out.
Yeah.
Is because now they're willing to take the risk and do something to, maybe rob a bank or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Because they know if I get caught, I know what I'm in for. I'm used to that shit. Yeah. Whatever. Either I'm broke and I can't handle being broke, or I get through with this bank robbery and I'm rich. Yeah. And then if I fail, I'll just go back to jail and it's better than this anyway.
You know what I think, though?
It's crazy.
I think the media does a very poor job. Instead of highlighting the positive people that get out, that's not a good news story.
No.
The story is, a guy just got out, went out on a robbery,
committed a crime,
and then
but you don't hear about the guys that did right
or started a business and is successful.
You don't hear about that. You just hear about the guys who got out on parole. And then it makes it look like the parole system is faulty,
right?
And they shouldn't let people out. It's very skewed for the media's convenience, really for a good story.
I mean, media controls everything. What people think, I mean, I don't know.
It does.
That's why I want to create my own show. That's just like fake media.
Well, dude, the problem is now
a joke.
Media, whether it's right wing media or left wing media, it's all packaged and filtered. And they want you to. They're giving you a narrative that they want you to have. There's no real objective journalism anymore where people just tell the truth of what happened. Because they're scared to. If they hear the story this way, they might think that the other side is right and politically or whatever. But so we have to filter it and change it a little bit and hide stuff like. It becomes a game between Fox News and CNN.
Yeah.
Who can up each other.
And then they talk shit about each other all the time.
There's really no real journalism anymore.
Yeah,
there's very few people.
Vice
News is great.
Vice News is,
I was going to say
in my opinion, the only thing I don't really research too much, but as soon as in news, because when I walk in the room, my dad's watching Fox News, like he doesn't anymore after Trump was gone because they totally.
They're all of their ratings are dropping right now with Trump being gone.
But it's just like I'd be in the room with my dad watching Fox News, and I'd be like, you can either change this or like I'm leaving. Like, I'm like, are you going to bed soon? Like,
well, because they have an agenda. Their agenda is to get you to vote Republican, however they have to do it. And the same with CNN. Their agenda is to get you to vote Democrat. Mm-hmm. They're bought by these politicians. That's what happened with our media now. Vice is good because Vice is actually trying to tell stories, and they don't care.
Real stories.
Vice on one day will drop a video about decriminalization of drugs, and then 2 days later they'll do a video about like black Republicans in college.
Yeah,
and they want to show you all these aspects of life and let you make up your mind, right? And that's why I love Vice.
Or they'll talk about how they'll talk about stuff that won't make the news. How there's people getting like in. I think it's South Africa and stuff like didn't you talk to a girl from, was it South Africa?
East Africa.
East Africa, where they're like, you know, because of their religion or whatever, like they're getting outed by their by other people.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, this person was born this way, you know,
right? And they shed light on those situations.
They were raised that way.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know,
Vice will travel the world to different places and really put a camera right on the primary
but
source.
They tell this truth.
So it's like for CNN and Fox News, they'll try to tell you what's going on over in Somalia.
Yeah.
But they won't actually be there. Vice will go to Somalia
and literally
show you
there's
like
bombing.
This is what's happening.
They'll be in the front lines and there's bombs going off. And
you can't argue against footage that's in your face.
You know what
real.
cracked me up back in the day? When they would show the poor kid in Somalia or Sudan, and he's all
with the bloated.
Can't the
stuff,
cameraman help him out? What does he do? Just leave after he films him?
Yeah, that's crazy. I always thought about that too.
You ever see that South Park episode where Cartman like hoards all the food and like all the people, like the, you know, where you mail money?
Oh yeah.
And then he found the warehouse and he like stole all the food and like all the kids were like just, you know,
that's crazy,
starving still.
That's crazy. There's another media source that I go to that's very they literally try their best to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's called Crystal and Cigar. It's a girl and a guy.
Yeah.
The guy's conservative, the girl's liberal, and they do not argue at all. They just tell the facts. They report the news, and that's it. They let you decide for yourself.
Is it on TV or
it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But it's very high production.
You know who started out on YouTube was Tommy Loren.
Yeah. There's a lot of people coming up on YouTube right now because people are looking for independent media now. Yeah. People know that if they turn on Fox News or CNN, they know they're getting lied to. They know they're full of shit.
Yeah.
So they go to YouTube and they find all these independent media sources, like Tommy Loren or whatever, Candace Owens or whoever, TYT, the Young Turks on the left.
Yeah.
And people go to that and gravitate towards that now because they know that these people are just trying to report.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Jenna Jameson's a good one. She's a good field reporter.
Jenna Jameson?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Porn star.
I knew you.
You didn't catch it. He knew right away.
Yeah, I thought it was that. Jenna Jameson.
Man.
But yeah, I can't remember what's the show's called Crystal and Cigar, but the company they work for, I can't remember the name of what it is, but they really are legitimately in the middle. There's nobody out there that does it like they do. They're literally like I've never seen them try to spin anything. They'll just be like, okay, Donald Trump passed a bill today, and it was positive because this is why. They'll tell you why it was good, and then the other person will say, and this is why people don't like it, and they'll tell you why people don't like it. They'll give you both sides right there in the same video.
That's why I like Vice. They're not biased at all.
Right.
They'll teach you everything.
Right.
You know, they'll teach you.
They have a good cast of reporters.
Oh my God!
Like they might have they might have biased reporters, but they have so many different loot.
And most of the reporters are people that, like, when they're covering a subject, are from that place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're spread out.
So he comes, like, a guy comes in and it's just like they're talking about where he grew up or where he was born.
You want to know something crazy about what's the owner of Vice?
Shane Smith.
Shane Smith.
Yeah.
When Shane Smith started Vice, it was him and two other dudes.
Yeah, it was a skateboarding company.
Yeah.
It was a skateboarding shoe magazine.
Yeah, in New York City.
Yep.
And they came from Canada. But check this out. The other guy, the one guy quit, and he's nowhere to be found anymore. He's nowhere in media at all. The other guy, Gavin McInnes, is now one of the founders of the Proud Boys. He's the most right-wing conservative. The Proud Boys. You never heard of the Proud Boys?
United with Trump.
The guys who rushed the Capitol building.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
He's one of the leaders of the Proud Boys now. He's one of the.
Really?
He's a co-founder of Vice.
Yeah. Was he the guy with the hat on?
No, he wasn't there. No, but he has his own show on YouTube, and he's the most far-right conservative you'll ever meet in your entire life.
Yeah.
And he was the co-founder of Vice. That tells you that they're born from a system that didn't have political bias at all. Because Shane Smith's kind of on the left, a little bit left-leaning. But they had their falling out because of him, because of his views being so far right. He's like, dude, you got to go. Yeah. So then he left and did his own thing. Shane Smith blew up after that because that was before Vice blew up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird because you would never think that one of the founders of Vice is also one of the founders of Proud Boys.
Yeah.
Which no one would ever think that because Vice has nothing to do with Proud Boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just wild to see how people take different routes in life. After a couple of years, you see people change up crazy. Like people change.
Oh
dude.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was a good another good voice to listen to is Mike Lindell, or what's his name? The dude CEO of My Pillow.
Oh yeah, Mike Lindell.
Yeah, Mike Lindell.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, where are you going with this?
I was totally kidding.
Yeah.
Yo, that dude,
he's hilarious.
It was
though.
crazy because
He's
he's in all these pillow commercials, and all of a sudden he's like speaking for Trump. I'm like, where did this dude come from?
Yeah.
And then he's speaking crazy stuff.
He was a coke addict too.
He was a crack addict.
Yeah.
And then he found God, and then like
most
my
people.
dad read his book.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure it's a great book too.
But that's, you know what I mean? That's why he was successful, because he's got the addict mentality where it's like, if you're not doing something, you're doing drugs.
Right.
So he's putting all his
That's what happens to people.
all his head into that company.
That's like we were talking
which
about.
became successful.
That's what we were talking about with the people in prison doing all these crazy makeshift lighters and stuff. If they put that thought process into something positive, take over the world.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You ever make toilet wine?
Not personally,
Yes.
but
Did you drink it?
I've witnessed it.
No, I didn't drink
I
it,
never
but
had
when I was in prison, there was a big batch of hooch being made, dude.
Oh, I love watching.
People were drinking it, and they were literally. This is what they were doing. They would take all the little the fruit cups from the trays,
ferment.
and then they would take bread, throw it in a big bag,
Sugar.
big garbage bags full of sugar, wine or not wine, the grape, the fruit cups, and then the juices too. And they would just let it ferment, and then the bag would turn to a big bubble, like a balloon. They would burp it. You'd smell like, I remember smelling the alcohol. It would smell like horrible wine.
Dude, people would do that in rehab
and
too.
they would drink it, and they would get hammered.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is actually happening, like right in front of me.
Yeah. People would do that in rehab too. Like they would get.
That's crazy. You're in rehab trying to drink wine, dude.
Well, I mean, dude,
you might as well just leave and go do it.
You got. We're talking people that are in there because they have to be.
Yeah,
we're talking about like 50-60-year-old alcoholics that like they're
gonna get the shakes.
They're doing it for life.
Yeah, that's bad, dude. That's sad though.
Yeah, it is.
But there is hope for everybody, and
Yeah. No, like seriously, like we're almost at an hour actually. We're at just about 57 minutes. So to finish it off, man, let's give us a rundown. Where are you trying to go and what you're trying to promote?
I'm very happy to have the opportunity to be back, and I believe with hard work and dedication, anything is possible. Anybody can be anything they want to in this world. It's a free world. If you disagree, you're just using it as an excuse to limit your own potential. And I'm just here to work hard, do my craft the best I can. And right now I'm cutting hair out of the house. I have a home shop. However, I am planning moves for the future. And
how can people support you and follow you and stuff like that? What are some of your links? And
at Dave Cut Instagram, at Dave Cut 1111 Instagram, at Dave Cut 1111 TikTok, Facebook.com / Dave Cut 1111, 716-361-7461 for haircuts. I guarantee you I'll give you a great haircut. And I have a lot of things going on for the future. I manifest a lot, so I'm envisioning very good things, and I have very good spirits with me, and I believe that they are crutching me to success in the future.
You got any new music videos coming out?
Not for a little bit.
Maybe in the future.
But on May 1st, it's actually the 20th anniversary of The Cut, and I'm celebrating as if it never stopped, because it
never stops.
It never stops. I picked it up right where I left off, and May 1st, 2021.
20 years.
Yeah.
Cut life.
Yep.
All right. Well, stay tuned, and definitely gonna have you back very soon.
Sounds good, man.
Let's do this a regular thing. We were thinking about doing like a barbershop episode where he's cutting someone's hair, where we're just chilling. Maybe you come, we have a conversation, chill. That would be a good idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that too. So this was kind of just the introduction for that.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned for that.
Could you get someone like dope to come in? Like,
yeah, we gotta get someone good, like some celebrity, man.
What,
I know people.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll get that going.
Call French.
In my eyes, I think that your average person has just as much to offer as the dope person, because the dope person might be hollow inside and not really have a lot going on.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just
you got a good point
we
there.
look up to a facade, and you might be able to learn more from somebody.
Right.
So I'm
just an average everyday person working hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that we could all learn.
And and that changes people, like you said before, like, you know, becoming a celebrity and all that, like, it changes people.
Yeah,
So,
some people go to the
some
dark
people-
side real
some-
quick.
some people are just like, they won't even talk to you. They're total assholes.
Right.
Like, you know what
Yep.
I mean?
Yep.
And then you got Tom Hardy. Like, he was, there was a picture of him, and there was a quote. He was shaking hands with a homeless man, and he's like, my father taught me to treat everyone with the same amount of respect. And, you
That's
know,
what's up.
and you'll be
and,
successful.
and then you got some people being like, look at these peasants. Let me step
Yeah,
on these
yeah,
peasants while I walk past them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you see that a lot. That's a fact. That's a good point. And we'll end up on that. So stay tuned and catch you on the flip side.
Peace.